Hi, I'm Emily, mom to
Jesse,
who's in kindergarten, and Henry in 3rd grade.
And I'm Julie. I am mom to Elia, who you will hear chatting over that way, and she is in kindergarten.
And we are here today to show you how to make, what are we gonna make? Hot Pockets. What is a Hot Pocket? It's basically a hand pie, a breaded, stuffed, delicious, handheld snack or meal of goodness. So we're just gonna get started. We're gonna talk to you more about filling options and different types of hand pies around the world as we go.
Yep.
Can't wait.
All right, so we have 2/3 of a cup of a little bit warmer than room temperature water, not too hot or the yeast will not like it. And you're gonna put a packet of yeast if you have the little envelopes, or that's the equivalent of 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. So we're just gonna do that. Gus, you wanna stir that up just a little bit? So we're gonna let that sit and it's gonna get a little foamy. We're gonna reactivate the yeast with that water. So we're just gonna set it aside and then put our 1 cup of flour in our bowl. And to that, we're gonna add a tablespoon of sugar. And put it in there.
I wish that it was a liquid.
A liquid sugar you can eat. And then 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt.
This one I did not measure ahead of time.
It's fine. We're gonna save the oil. And so now we're just gonna wait like a few minutes.
Should I stir these up in here?
Yeah, you can. I got a wooden spoon here. Just mix it up a bit. And you're gonna get another cup of flour handy because we're gonna use that in a little bit. We're loving it. Okay, so magically, our 5 minutes have passed and our yeast is foamy and rehydrated and delicious. So we're gonna pour it into our flour.
Oil?
Oh yeah, the oil. Thanks, Julie.
How did we forget the oil?
A tablespoon of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, any kind of oil is totally fine.
Like,
Yeah.
who cares
Doesn't
which
matter.
oil
So you
it
put
is?
that into your wet ingredients, and then we're gonna take our wet
Can I hold it?
and put them into their
I
dry.
wanted to.
Well, why don't you go rinse your hands off? Because you were just touching your face and your nose, my friend.
Yay!
Come on, proper sanitation. Thank you. All right, and then we're gonna mix it up, and it's gonna be really wet, but this just incorporates everything together. And then we're gonna add a little bit more flour.
At a time. You just kind of start.
Yeah, so here, come on up here and do your flour.
Okay, I'm gonna fully
Stand up. So we're gonna take our flour and put about half of that in there. Sometimes you don't need 2 full cups, depending on the humidity, or maybe, you know, if you measured your water for your yeast a little bit on the heavy side or the light side, it just depends. So you're gonna keep mixing it up, and then once it gets kind of shaggy and a little hard to mix, I like to get in there with my hands.
Like this.
Look, you did such a good job. That's a funny name. All right, can you give me a little more flour in here?
It's a dog.
So you're just gonna knead it a little bit. We're not kneading it for 20 minutes. Just gonna get as much flour as you can. And when it stops absorbing all the flour, you're done. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so I added just a tiny bit more,
Yeah.
but it's feeling pretty good. Pretty smooth, it's still pretty soft and pillowy. And I'm gonna call it.
I'm laying it up, making it not that.
So then, when we get to this point, we're gonna let it rest for about 20 minutes. We're gonna cover it with a nice clean kitchen towel.
Oh, look, piece of dough.
And just set it aside for
Piece of dough.
about 20 minutes. All right. So while the dough's resting
Hey,
is a good time.
wait! To watch? I'm going TV.
Yeah, go watch some Encore TV.
Okay.
So we're going to take our little ball of dough that's rested for about 20 minutes just to loosen up. And
cover the board, your counter.
Yeah, just a little flour on the table.
Yeah.
And my sleeve.
All right.
And Gus's cheek.
That's fine.
It's fine. And we're gonna take it, and I have this bench scraper or dough cutter, but you can use a butter knife. You could use like a little plastic cutting board, whatever you need to do, and you're gonna cut your dough in half, and then cut it in half again, and then one more time. So you're gonna get 8 little wedges. We're gonna make 8 hand pies with this recipe. And if you need more than 8 for your family, you can easily double this dough recipe or triple it. And you can also, if you don't want to do individual ones, you could just roll out the whole dough and then cut it into rectangles and fold them over that way. But this way, I like doing it this way because then there's individual ones we can spread out on the table and everyone can do their own. You roll these. So I'm just taking the little wedge of dough and putting it in the middle of my hand and kind of forming it into a ball.
This is the wedge of dough.
And kind of folding it over. But again, it does not have to be perfect. You could even just do this.
Okay, all right.
And that would be totally, totally fine. But I just like tucking it in on itself. It makes it more even when you roll it out, but it does not have to be at all. That's
one of mine started to look like this.
That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, once you do all these, they rest for about 10 minutes.
Okay. All right, mine are finally all done.
Excellent. So now's a good time to grab our fillings.
I'm gonna clean up a few things. Maybe.
Sauteed kale and feta cheese.
Yummy.
And then we're gonna do some more pepperoni pizza ones because that's the favorite in my house. So I have some little cute, adorable pepperonis, and I have some mozzarella cheese, and I have some marinara sauce, and a little bit of Parmesan, which I'll sprinkle on top of them when they bake so that I know that those are the pepperoni pizza ones.
I'm bringing out the sweet drawer. I'm doing banana with Nutella.
Yum.
And that one we tried before with great results. The next one we have not tried. We're gonna do chocolate chips, marshmallows, and mini pretzels. And we'll see what happens. I don't even know. We're gonna see.
That sounds amazing. Okay, so now I put a little more flour on the counter, and I kind of push it down a little bit on both sides so it gets flour on it so it's not gonna stick. Okay. Because I still have a little flour from that second cup we never used. All right, here, I'm gonna start and then I'll let you finish.
Oh, my.
And then you just roll it out. So it's about 6 inches in diameter, so it's gonna be maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. And it doesn't have to be a perfectly round circle.
We might eat this for dinner.
We might, you never know. And I just line them up. I have a sheet pan lined with a Silpat, which is a non-stick silicone mat that a lot of bakers use. But you could also use parchment paper or aluminum foil, or just nothing underneath, and that would be fine. I just do it as protection, just in case the fillings leak out a little bit. It makes it easier to clean up.
Woo! I am tired from rolling those all out.
Oh gosh, yes, we're done. And they've been resting for just a minute. We got our ingredients ready. And we're gonna start filling. So yeah, this one, you can take them and stretch them back out a little if they shrink up a little bit after they've rested. That's easy to do. But you can see like mine are not perfect. They're not perfect circles. Totally fine.
I'm gonna start with this. I can't wait.
Everyone's favorite thing ever.
Do you leave the rest of yours covered and like fill one at a time, or you?
Yeah, so I do like 2 at a time usually.
Okay.
Because that's kind of easy to manage. So I'm going to start with my vegetarian ones. I have kale and feta cheese. And the kale, I sauteed it, or I steamed it, and then drained, like squeezed all the water out of it.
Oh, nice.
and then threw it in the fridge.
And you just put the toppings on like 1/2 of it?
Yeah, so I can't get my computer here. But yes, I put them kind of towards one side because you're going to be folding it over. So yeah, move them about towards one side. And if I'm using cheese or something runny, I usually put it right in the middle.
Oh.
And then cover it with the other filling.
Maybe that's what I should have done. Okay, so here's half of my Nutella.
Beautiful.
And then I have a banana that I chopped up and just left it in the peel so that it's waiting for me. I'm just gonna put the banana pieces in on top of the Nutella. And I might just add a little bit of salt.
Oh, perfect. All right, so I've got my 2 filled, and I'm gonna take a little pastry brush, but you can totally just use your finger.
Oh yeah, I will be using my finger.
And then just brush the perimeter all around the outside, and this is going to help the dough stick to itself so it doesn't leak all over the place. Let me move my stuff out of the way here. And then you fold it over, and I kind of press down a little to get the air out. Lost a piece of kale there. And then just push down where the seams meet. And from here, there are a variety of ways you can seal it to like reinforce it so it doesn't leak out.
Yeah.
I'm not very close, but you can like fold it in on itself.
Beautiful.
Yes, which I already did with one. You can take a fork and crimp it like you sometimes do like a pie.
Yeah.
Or you can take your fingers and kind of, again, like the edge of a pie crust, and just go through and make it kind of fancy looking. So the last step after you have them filled and on your sheet pan is to brush them with a little bit of egg wash. And this is just an egg and a little bit of milk. And I didn't whisk it. I just put it in a jar and shook the jar because I'm lazy and I didn't want to get the whisk dirty.
I think that makes total sense.
And I'm using the same brush I used for the water because it was just water. It's fine.
Oh,
and then you just give them a brush, and this is going to give them a nice like glaze and sheen on the top. And it also helps, especially with the ones if you like folded them over, it helps that really seal up. So the other part of putting this egg wash on there is it makes kind of a sticky surface. So if you're going to sprinkle anything on top, you could sprinkle like sesame seeds, you could sprinkle some salt, which I like to do sometimes. And then for the pizza ones, I like to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese, and it gets really crispy and yummy. Excellent.
I'm ready for the next step.
Okay, and the final step is you get a little knife from somewhere, or a fork. Can't find my knife. So, a fork or a knife, and you just poke a couple little holes in the top, because your fillings are going to make some steam, and you want to make sure that steam can escape. Otherwise, they're just going to like split open, and all your num fillings are going to fall right out of there.
Bad news.
Which, yeah, that would be sad for everyone. You'd have just like a whole sheet pan of fillings. Excellent. And then you just throw them in your 400-degree oven for 20 to 30 minutes. Like, check them at 20. If they look nice and toasty brown on top, pull them out. If they don't look quite toasty brown, leave them in for another few minutes. But we're going to go ahead and pop these in.
Okay. My oven is around the corner, so I'll be right back.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to show you is at the beginning of this episode, we made a new batch of dough and then magically had one that was ready. You can mix your dough and let it rest for 20 minutes, and then you can wrap it up in plastic and throw it in the fridge. That way you could do this in the morning or the day before and have it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to make your Hot Pockets or your hand pies, you just pull it out, let it sit on the counter for about 20 minutes, and then you're ready to cut it, form it, and you don't have to do that first mixing step. Our challenge to you is to go around your house and see how many different varieties of Hot Pockets you could make. Go through your fridge, go through your freezer, go through your pantry, and see how many different combinations you could think of. And then if you have the ingredients to make the dough, go ahead and make some with your family. Have fun,
have fun doing it together, get your hands dirty, and cook your dinner together. And then share videos of what you've made and your ideas for future Hot Pockets on Flipgrid. Enjoy, guys!